Why you keep attracting the same type of partner? Have you ever found yourself saying, "Why does this keep happening to me?" You meet someone new. They seem different, safer, kinder. But a few months in, the same emotional chaos resurfaces. Carl Gustav Jung will explain. Let's get started. Trauma chooses for you. Let's begin with a truth that can be both liberating and painful. You don't choose who you love. Your wounds do. Most of us believe we are consciously choosing our partners based on attraction, shared values, chemistry, timing. But in reality, something much deeper is at play. We are subconsciously drawn to people who activate our most familiar emotional patterns, even when those patterns hurt. Let's break it down. Imagine a woman named Anna. She grew up with a distant, emotionally unavailable father. He was physically present, but emotionally absent, always distracted, never truly there. Little Anna internalized a message. I must prove I'm worthy of love. I must work hard to be seen. Now, fast forward to adult Anna. She meets a charming man at a party. He seems confident, a bit mysterious, not too emotionally expressive, and she's instantly intrigued. There's a pull, a spark, a gut feeling. But here's the twist. That magnetic pull she feels? It's not fate. It's familiarity. She's not drawn to his soul. She's drawn to the way he unconsciously mirrors the emotional distance of her father. Her nervous system recognizes the pattern and believes that this time, if she can finally earn his love, she healed the original wound. This is what Jung described as the compulsion to repeat. We don't repeat painful relationships because we enjoy suffering. We repeat them because the inner child still believes that if they can finally get it right, the pain will stop. The illusion of chemistry. Let's talk about chemistry. That magical feeling we all crave in romantic encounters. People often say, "I just didn't feel the spark," or "I knew they were the one the moment I saw them." But Jung would warn, be careful with that spark. Sometimes what you call chemistry is actually your trauma saying, "This feels familiar." Let's look at another example. Meet Daniel. He grew up with a mother who was overly critical. Nothing he did was ever enough. She praised achievement, not affection. Love was conditional. As an adult, Daniel finds himself irresistibly drawn to women who are cold, hard to please, emotionally distant. And though part of him is miserable in these relationships, another part can't stay away. Why? Because on a subconscious level, Daniel believes, if I can finally win over someone like her, I'll prove I'm lovable. I'll rewrite the story. But here's the painful truth. You cannot heal the past by reenacting it. You can only heal it by facing it. Trauma bonds versus true connection. There's a big difference between a trauma bond and a true connection. A trauma bond is created when two people connect through mutual unhealed pain. You become addicted to the highs and lows, the emotional roller coaster, mistaking intensity for intimacy. Real connection, on the other hand, feels safer, quieter, more stable. But to the wounded inner child, safe love can feel boring, because the child inside is still chasing the storm they grew up in, still trying to fix what went wrong. This is why healing is so essential. Until you become aware of your emotional blueprint, you will keep choosing people who feel like home, even if home was filled with pain, suppress, or deny. The shadow. Carl Jung believed that each of us carries within us a shadow, the unconscious part of our personality that we reject. The shadow holds everything we don't want to admit about ourselves: our anger, our neediness, our fears, our shame, our desires. But here's the paradox. Even though we repress the shadow, it doesn't disappear. Instead, it shows up in other people, especially in the people we fall in love with. Have you ever been magnetically drawn to someone and you couldn't explain why? Or been repulsed by someone without any logical reason? pulling us toward people who embody the traits we've buried. That's often your shadow projecting itself onto another. In love, the shadow acts like a magnet. Let's say you pride yourself on being nice, responsible, and self-sacrificing. You've always been the one who keeps it together, who plays by the rules. They speak their truth, because deep down, your shadow wants to feel what they embody. They take up space. Then one day, you fall hard for someone wild, unpredictable, emotionally chaotic. They break rules. You say, "They're so toxic, but I can't stay away." Why? It wants to break rules. It wants to be loud. It wants to live. They are holding the disowned parts of you, and your soul knows it. That's why relationships are never just about two people. They are the dance of two shadows, each trying to become whole through the other. Falling in love with your shadow. Jung said, "The meeting of two personalities is like the contact of two chemical substances. If there is any reaction, both are transformed. This reaction often begins with projection. You see in your partner what you wish you could express. You also see what you fear about yourself, and sometimes you see what you used to be or what you're trying to escape. For instance, a deeply spiritual woman might find herself drawn to a partner who is grounded, logical, even skeptical. Why? Because he mirrors the part of her she has disowned, the rational, structured mind. At first, this polarity is electric, but over time, friction builds. Because once the honeymoon fades, the shadow becomes harder to hide. She starts criticizing him. "You're too cold, too calculated." He responds, "You're too emotional, too irrational." But what's really happening? Each is fighting the part of themselves they still haven't made peace with. Anima and animus. Jung introduced two powerful inner forces, the anima and animus. The anima is the feminine aspect within every man. The animus is the masculine aspect within every woman. These archetypes shape not only how we relate to the opposite sex, but also how we seek love, purpose, and identity. Here's how it works. Every man carries an unconscious image of the feminine, shaped by his mother, culture, and personal experience. This is his anima. When he falls in love, he often projects this inner image onto a woman, believing she is his ideal. But she's not. She's a person, not his missing piece. And every woman carries an unconscious image of the masculine, shaped by her father and cultural ideals. This is her animus. When she meets a man who matches that image, she feels deeply drawn, even if they are incompatible. These projections create fantasy-based love, not real intimacy. Let's take an example. A man named Leo grew up idolizing his artistic, mysterious, emotionally volatile mother. She was warm, but also unstable, loving, but unpredictable. As an adult, Leo keeps falling for creative, emotionally intense women who make him feel alive. But they also make him anxious. They're moody, distant, even manipulative at times. Still, he can't help it. He's obsessed. Jung would say, Leo isn't in love with her. He's in love with his anima, projected onto her. Until Leo integrates that feminine energy within himself, until he learns to nurture, express, and contain his own emotions, he will keep seeking women to play that role for him. And it will always end in disillusionment. Projection eventually breaks. One of the most painful but liberating truths Jung offers is this: projections eventually collapse. No one can live up to the fantasy you cast onto them. And when they fall short, as they inevitably do, disappointment, resentment, and confusion set in. You say, they changed. But in reality, they didn't change. You just started to see them for who they are. This moment is critical. Most people panic and run, chasing the next projection. But the wiser path is to pause and reflect. Because when the projection ends, the real relationship can begin, not based on fantasy, but on reality, on truth. On two souls meeting, shadow to shadow, heart to heart. Repetition isn't a mistake, it's a message. At this point, you might be asking, if I know I keep choosing the wrong partners, why can't I stop? The answer is both simple and profound. Because your unconscious isn't trying to hurt you, it's trying to wake you up. Carl Jung believed that we are led by what we don't know about ourselves, not out of cruelty, but for the sake of healing. You're not repeating these relationships because you're weak. You're repeating them because your psyche is trying to complete an old story. It's like a loop. Your inner child is standing in the ruins of a painful memory, still hoping for a different ending. So every time someone comes along who reminds you of that original hurt, emotionally distant, controlling, chaotic, a part of you whispers, maybe this time it will be different. But it won't be different until you are. Why your inner child chooses your partners. Let's talk about the inner child. This is not just a poetic term. It is a very real part of your psyche, the emotional memory of who you were when you first learned what love meant. And for most people, that definition of love was tangled with fear, shame, abandonment, or unworthiness. The child within still seeks the love they didn't receive, and they'll keep looking for it in all the wrong places. Imagine your inner child holding a lantern, walking through the world of adults. You are enough. You don't have to earn it. Because the adult version of you never stopped and turned inward, quietly searching for the one who will finally say, I see you. But instead of healing, the child finds repetition. Why? We focus so much on finding the right partner, when the truth is, the first relationship you must heal is the one with yourself. A real-life example. Let's take Sarah as an example. Sarah is a successful, independent woman. She's built a career, takes care of herself, seems confident. I know better. Why do I do this? They give little. She holds on longer than she should. She ends up heartbroken, again and again. But in relationships, she keeps falling for men who are emotionally unavailable. She gives everything. Sarah says, I don't understand. I believe you. You don't need to chase anyone ever again. The answer lies in her past. As a child, Sarah had a mother who was cold, dismissive, and often said things like, don't be so dramatic. Stop being needy. Sarah learned to suppress her emotions. She learned that love was conditional and always out of reach. So now, as an adult, her inner child is still trying to earn love, still trying to prove she's worthy enough to make someone stay. Until Sarah sees this, until she sits with that little girl inside and says, I hear you, she will continue repeating the same story with different people. Thanks for watching. Part 2 will come soon. Take care your soul.
车驶上高原，没换头饭作家，自驾去布达拉宫和老婆戒掉婚约，他劝我坐机场去玩乐，我用尿片接送他。整个泰国没下雪的湾头上万字帽，我们整晚起真背心森到金钱票，趁钱表上主干道上怪我就刹住车，米波自动导航留着一身刺猬汗，周到怪物引人注目，拳头是提车架，外星音乐乱七八糟，始终飘向。